What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Blade's new uniform. It just went live, so that means that we can pick it up and start, hopefully, playing with Blade here with his new upgraded look. So this is his Avengers look, and the uniform itself looks really nice. The armor looks really good. I like the gunmetal gray that's going on there, so it works really well with the character. The uniform itself is going to do a few things for him, as in change all of his skills because he really needed it. And then the uniform bonus there is going to change his tier 4 passive. There's tier 4. What? Whoa, I'm getting ahead of myself here. There's no tier 4s in the game yet. His 4-star passive, and then he's going to get some chain hit damage by 15% when attacking, so it's going to be nice for increasing his damage. His 4-star passive here is going to activate whenever an HP steal buff is used. And then he's going to get remove all debuffs for 5 seconds, and then he's going to increase attack and defense by 25%, speed by 5%, and crit rate by 25%, and he'll remove incapacitation. That does only last for 10 seconds, the kind of attack buff going on there. The debuff was only 5 seconds, and it has a 20-second cooldown, so it's only going to be active for half of the fight there, at least the buffs to his damage. Removing debuffs, that's a little, quite a bit worse than a debuff leadership. So, but hey, it's better than nothing. I like having some kind of debuff removal mechanic there. And then his skill changes here. His first skill, we just have some bleed. The second skill, we have some all defense down, which is really nice. It stacks up to minus 50%, so we can definitely take advantage of that. He has a 70% chance to miss applied to the enemy or the boss. Let's see here, we have super armor, all defense by 50%. We have damage immunity for 5 seconds. We have 20% increased all attack for 10 seconds. So quite nice there for the third skill. It is only on an 11-second cooldown, so that means 5.5 seconds. So that means you can pretty much have this buff up the entire time. The all attack buff definitely the entire time, but the super armor and all defense and the immunity, you can pretty much have that up all the time. So that's really good for his survivability, having that damage immunity on such a short cooldown. And the super armor there means that you don't necessarily have to give him a guard break immunity obelisk. Just depends on how you want to do his skill rotation to try to get that all defense down there. The fourth skill, we have some bleed. We have stun and a silence, so the silence could make him useful in Alliance Battle Extreme. We'll have to see what kind of damage, because he didn't have a silence on any of these, right? Yeah. The fifth skill here, we've got some more bleed, we got that chance to miss, we got a stun, and we have some more all defense down, which is really nice, minus 50% again, and he gets invincibility on the fifth skill here for 6 seconds. The fifth skill is on a longer cooldown, so you're not going to really be able to use this every rotation. If you're trying to use a damage proc, you can, of course, stall so that you can keep using the fifth skill, but the fifth skill actually has a pretty big downside to it, and that is it is not an iframe, so that makes it very hard to use that as your proc skill if you're fighting Proxima, because she just gets out of dodge before you can hit her with the skill. Well, you could get a few hits in, but then she just jumps away, so you definitely want a mind control striker if you're going to be using the fifth skill for a majority of your damage. So all the other skills, though, were on a short cooldown, which is really nice. So let's hop into the skill preview here, and we'll check out what the skills actually look like. So first skill, just some slashes here with the sword. Second skill, again, some more slashes with the sword, and then some bombs there, or whatever we're calling those. They look like some kind of explosions, but those explosions at the end are what gives you the all defense down, so you definitely need to pay attention to that. But you can cancel the skills, so that's fantastic. So you could just go boom, instant cancel, wait for it. Oh, I pushed them too far away. Oh no, there it is. You could see the all defense down has applied, so you can instant cancel the second skill and you still get that all defense down at the very end. So I guess he just throws up the grenades or something at the start. I don't know what it is, but we get that explosion nonetheless. The third skill here, he jumps up, he throws a whole mess of little bombs on the ground, and then they explode. Well, he shoots off some guns there. It is an iframe at the start. You get all of the buffs right away, so you just go boop, and you can like instant cancel. Actually, you get all of the buffs except for one, don't you? Let me see here. Oh no, you get all the buffs. Yeah, you get all the buffs at the start, so that's great. And then the fourth skill is a full iframe, so that's really nice. Pretty short animation, but it looks like it has quite a few hits on it, so that's nice. So this is another skill that you can proc on if you want to make sure that the boss kind of gets locked in place and guarantee all of your hits. Now, the fifth skill. So here we have the fifth skill. We get the invincibility, and as you can see, none of it is an iframe. It does some hits, and then a very long wind up to that kind of same explosion that we get on the second skill. That applies the all defense down. So if you're going to be using the fifth skill for your damage, you're definitely going to need that second skill's all defense down to proc before using the fifth skill, else you're going to be missing out on a lot of damage. So the general rotation that I like to use for Blade is I just do boom, go there, and then I go into the fifth skill, let all of that play out for some damage there, and then when he gets to that, I go into the fourth skill, and then we do the second, third, and fifth again. And you can already probably see the problem with this rotation is the fifth skill is on a, what was it, an 8.5 second cooldown, if I remember correctly, so your damage proc will get out of line very quickly. So that's just something that I just have to deal with to kind of keep Blade protected, because I'm using the invincibility from the fifth skill and then the damage immunity on the third skill. So it definitely helps his survivability quite a bit to do that rotation. You can, of course, kite around. You can just do 2, 3, and then go into 5. Boom, let 5 play out, get your damage, go to the explosion, and then just run around until the fifth skill has like a second left, and then just do the same thing here and go into the same rotation. But again, that leaves you open for damage, so keep that in mind. When he does have a perfectly safe skill rotation you can use, it just maybe isn't damage proc friendly, but this damage is still nice, so it's not like it's gonna hurt him a ton. So I have leveled up his uniform a little bit, so we can go ahead and check out the uniform options here. So the first option is going to be Red Skull with this Hydra armor, which again, a really nice uniform, so that's good. And then we have Emma Frost Phoenix 5, which not really the best option here. She's been on a lot of uniform options lately, so yeah, definitely not a free-to-play kind of friendly uniform there. We have War Machine's endgame uniform, which I'm guessing this is the standard look because I picked up the team suit. Yeah, I picked up the team suit for him, so that's why I'm missing that one. And then we have Black Widow's Marvel Black Widow, her black suit look here. So that's good. And then the final uniform is going to be, Thing for Future Foundation, another uniform I don't have. So I guess I could just leave the uniform at Legendary here. So those are going to be your uniform options for Blade. Let's go ahead and take a look at my build on him before we hop into a little bit of gameplay. So go over here. We just have all of his gears at 20. He is still at level 60, so I did not upgrade him to level 70. His skills, I have the second skill leveled up, of course, for that all defense down. Third skill I have leveled up because it didn't start at 100% chance for the damage immunity, and also we get more all defense more all defense and more all attack. The fourth skill I didn't level up. The fifth skill I leveled up for the all defense down, and yeah, that's what we're looking like. Oh, and then the interaction, of course, for his 4-star passive here, which I don't think I mentioned yet, is it's when he uses an HP steal buff. The only way he gets that is from his leadership, which I find that to be a little annoying. I feel like one of his skills should have had an HP buff or HP steal buff on it, because his leadership, despite having the HP steal, is very bad because it doesn't steal very much HP at all. So it applies to all allies. Activation rate 25% when attacking. Okay, sure, fine, I can deal with that. And then it recovers HP equal to 8% of damage dealt. Okay, cool. You can beef up your blade. You can do quite a bit of damage. You get that all defense down. Yeah, you can hit pretty hard. Cannot recover more than 0.5% of max HP. Reactivates every 0.5 seconds after activation. Lasts for 10 seconds on a 25-second cooldown. That is really bad. 0.5%. I mean, okay, I don't have the best HP pool in my blade here. 22k or 22.5. When I was doing that, I was healing for what, 700? Or am I being generous there? It was like 750 HP. Yeah, 750 or something like that. So that's very, very low every half second. So every second you're getting like 1400 HP back. That's nothing. I couldn't even see my health bar moving up when I was doing lifesteal. You know, even though I had I got my invincibility procced and my damage immunity up, so I wasn't taking any damage, but the lifesteal just wasn't moving my health bar. So the lifesteal is very, very poor on Blade here. I really think they should have improved that. I mean, look at Morbius. That lifesteal is amazing on him, but Blade, he gets nothing here from his lifesteal. So that's just something I don't really like about that. If they buffed this up and actually it gave him a decent or substantial amount of healing, because look at how many healing characters we have where they just naturally heal over time and everything like that. So I don't know why they were so hesitant to give Blade more healing, since we have so many characters in the game that can just do massive HP heals. And anyway, but you have to use his leadership to get his 4-star passive to proc. And like I said, the passive gives you some damage increase and removes debuffs, but it's not really worth it. I'd rather have a 60% leadership in the terms of Crescent or Abomination, or if you just have Beast, you get a 50% lead right there, instead of getting essentially a 25% leadership that only lasts for half of the time, because as you can see, 10 seconds on a 20-second cooldown. So I kind of think they should change this interaction a little bit here, and that would make Blade quite a bit better. Maybe make his own leadership more desirable to use for him. Again, it's not super bad using his own leadership. He still does well with the damage and stuff like that. It's just other leads are better, so you know, you don't have enough incentive to really want to use his lead just for this buff here from his 4-star passive. His ISO 8 set, I still have an old ISO 8 set on him from back when I first rolled it or first built him, so that's why you see some 3 and 4-star ISO 8s here. But we do have Power of Angry Hulk, and then for the Obelisk, again, something I've had on him just for a long time, is a Guard Break Immunity 140, which he doesn't need the Guard Break Immunity now because of that 3rd skill, but this is just what I already had on him, so I wasn't going to change it just for the video here, because I'm not really sure how much I'm going to invest in Blade. And you already saw I do have his uniform at Legendary. If we look at the details here, all his other stats are they're okay. So we have our ignore defense and our skill cooldown up to max. That noise, I thought I heard something pop. And then we have our crit rates at only 33%, so quite low there. So that's something I would like to have his 4-star passive active for, to get that 25% crit rate increase. That would actually be really nice. And then our crit damage is just at 151, so pretty low there. Our attack speed, though, is pretty much maxed at 128, so we're really close there to max. Oh yeah, he does have the Weapon Master tag, so you can pair him with Taskmaster if you want to, but of course, he already gets some skill and bonus damage here, so you're not really going to be taking advantage of that. You're mainly going to take advantage of the guaranteed crit and the ignore dodge, which again is nice, so we get that extra crit and then some ignore dodge where needed. So yeah, that's what my Blade is looking like. So let's go ahead and hop into some gameplay and see how we can do. Alright, so here we are at Proxima stage 50. First, I'll show you with his own leadership here. So we get that HP steal, if we want to call it that. And then we can go with 2 supports that way, which is pretty good, because then you get the 25% from his passive and the double supports. So he can actually boost up his damage quite a bit. And then we're going to go with no strikers here for now, but again, for Blade, I do recommend having a mind control striker just to lock down the boss a little bit, so that you can take advantage of the damage on his 5th skill. So let's load this up here. Alright, so let Proxima do her attack, and then we'll do 2, jump into that, and proc here on 5. The all defense down is stacking up. She's running away, so I can't quite do it. There we go. And now we proc on the, what's it called? The 4th skill, and then I just go back in here again. So again, that's pretty much just the rotation I use, and as you can see, it keeps him pretty well protected. Took a little bit of damage there from the poison on the ground, so let's see how much healing we get. There it is. Oh, is that only 170? Yeah, it's only 174. Oops, oh, I mean, we died right there. That was only 174 healing. That is pathetic. 174 healing. So, I mean, double that to get it how much you're healing per second. You're barely getting over 300 HP back per second. That is horrible by any standard of this game. Wow. All right, well, let's switch over to a better lead here, or a damage lead, I guess I should say. So we'll just do that, take you out, and then we will look for Abomination or somebody else. Yeah, there's Abomination, or we could have used Crescents there. All right, so let's hop back in here and give this another go. But again, I'm just going to be using mainly this heal rotation to keep him protected, but if you want to maximize your damage or make sure your proc is always going off at the start of one of your damaging skills, you can kite around a little bit or actually stall to get your damage to go off on the 4th skill. So here we go, get our 5th skill proc, boom. And you don't have to wait there, you can go right into the 2nd and then 3rd skill if you want to. Here we go. So damage, as you can see, is pretty good on either skill. Whoops, I didn't use my 3rd skill there for the protection. I'm already... It's hard sometimes to talk and play. Alright, let me try that again. It's like distracting myself trying to think of what I want to say here about Blade. Just because I'm dying here doesn't mean that he is... or doesn't mean that he has low survivability. Sure, he dies pretty quickly when he actually gets hit, but he has invincibility and damage immunity that can last the entire time, so that makes him a lot harder to kill, or a lot harder than I'm showing off here. But the thing that I don't like about that is I can't cancel that skill there because she jumped away, so that's one thing that I don't like for both his actually for all of his skills. The 2nd and 5th skill mainly are where you're going to notice it, is if she jumps away you can't cancel that skill, so you're going to be stuck in the skill animation, which can be a little bit annoying. I think it happens on the 3rd skill as well, but as you can see we're doing just fine here in terms of the survivability. Get over here. But our damage proc is just all over the place. So that's one downside. There's a few characters like that where if you play them for kind of safety and survivability, then your damage proc will really suffer. He seems to be one of them, so of course an activation would be better on him, like a CTP of Rage, but we don't all have CTPs of Rage to just throw on characters willy-nilly here, so we just want to have it on our kind of main characters that we're going to be using, DPS, clears, that kind of thing. So I'm not really sure that I'm convinced Blade is going to fit that role. His damage is good, don't get me wrong, he's definitely got some potential here in terms of his DPS, but yeah, it's nothing spectacular because this is stage 50, so keep that in mind. But he's going through it kind of slow here. Whoops, I didn't mean to cancel that one out so quickly. Oh, we're gonna die. Switch. He is only level 60 is what I meant to say, so he definitely has room for improvement there. Get him to level 70, do quite a bit more damage. Alright, let's switch back over. Oh, are you doing... Yep, you're doing more purple circles. Ah, we're gonna get hit. Did you proc? Okay, no you didn't. I was gonna say, did you really proc from like one hit there? Okay, so, boom. Alright, so I think we... Oh, I didn't even notice that she iframed away. Went to itch my nose for a second there, and it almost ruined me. So I think we should be able to clear this, provided we don't die or mess up a little bit here, and provided we can get some kind of damage proc on either the 4th or 5th skill, because that's definitely has not been happening. Oh, there we go. There, you can see that damage once we actually get on the correct skill. Oh, and she iframes. Fantastic. A little bit of lifesteal would be nice now, but again, I don't think that's going to be enough to even off-put the poison damage that we're taking from the poison pools here. Alright, well anyway, 6 bars left, 2 minutes. He should be able to do this just fine with my kind of rotation to just keep him alive and not worrying about the damage proc, so not really too worried about that, but it is going to be kind of close. So stage 50 is about what he can do for me. 140 damage proc on him though, so definitely room for improvement there, even if I just wanted to go the damage proc route. He doesn't need that guard break immunity, so I could definitely give him like a crit rate damage proc obelisk, and then I could get quite a bit more damage out of him because I'm missing quite a bit of crit rate. But overall, I mean, the uniform is a solid upgrade for Blade here. It definitely gives him some of everything. He gets some more damage. He has all defense down. He's got immunities, debuff removal if he uses his own leadership. They really need to make his leadership more desirable to use, because 176 healing is that's just laughable. That's not enough healing. He needs a little bit more. Something, bump that up from what is it, 0.5% of max HP right now? What is it? Yeah, 0.5% of max HP. That should be, normally healing characters get like 5% of theirs, so bump this up from between 2 to 10%. 2% might be low. 5 to 10% of max HP, and then that's on, you know, that's only active for less than half the battle. 10 seconds on a 25-second cooldown. I think that would make him a lot better if he had like better healing, or even healing on any of his skills. I mean, he's Blade. Why does he only have that tiny bit of healing on his lead and not even any healing on his skills? So anyway, but besides that, the uniform is good. So I do like the uniform. I just don't think it's anything like spectacular, so it's not going to be like one of the top 10 must-buy uniforms. But if you like Blade and you want to use Blade, then definitely you can get some use out of him with this uniform. But other than that, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I'd definitely say just save your crystals for a more game-changing uniform, and maybe even just save it for a deluxe pack, or if you're looking for a crystal character or something like that. But that's just my thoughts here on Blade, so let me know what you think of the uniform. Sorry this video went on longer than I expected. I guess I went into a little more rants about the few things that bothered me with the uniform. But again, I still do like the uniform. I just think they can make it a lot better with a few tweaks. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one here. Hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.